Coming up on the Get Loud podcast, of course, we're going to get you ready for Commanders and Saints.
Yes, we are, but we got Josina Anderson on the line.
Special guest, and we'll geek out, including a little chat about your fraternity.
Lambda, lambda, lambda.
How you doing, guys? It is the Get Loud podcast presented by SeatGeek, the official primary ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders. Find tickets to Commanders games and more. SeatGeek.
SeatGeek.
The man.
Most
Fred
definitely.
Smoot. I'm Michael Jenkins.
Back
How
from
you doing?
the off week, the bye week.
The bye week.
Why was it so late, Jenks? That's ridiculous,
Right.
man. So I can only wonder how the player's body feel. Like they really had to enjoy this bye week mentally, physically, everything.
How much did you enjoy the bye week? Because, like, as you know, no player in that locker room feels 100% right now.
Nobody. I enjoyed the bye week. I watched a lot of college football.
Yeah.
I watched a lot of pro football. I did just enormous of nothing. I did nothing, and I enjoyed it. So I know they enjoyed it, but it's one of those things where I just can't figure out why it's so late.
Oh, man, we were watching the SEC championship game. My Horns took an L. That was a tough loss.
You know what? You see my text. I text you.
I was like, I'm not saying anything right now. I'm too locked into this game.
I knew when I did that bull in the poop emoji.
I was like, Smoot, I'm trying to win a title here. I'm like, I'm trying to win it. But I'm like, my team's trying to win it. And Fred's like talking smack immediately. But you know what's funny is we were at this bar like watching the game with a bunch of college football fans. We're going back and forth. It's college football.
Yeah.
One championship game after another. And this guy at the end of the bar goes, yeah, I'm a Packers fan. But nobody's talking about the NFL right now. What are you doing?
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
This is what I got to say. Quinn Ewers.
Yours?
Ewers. Ooey. What I call him, Quinn Ooey. Stinks.
He doesn't stink.
Listen, he's not as billed. This should have been the year of Arch Manning. Like, no way should Arch Manning be sitting on the bench while Quinn Ewers is out there throwing the most. Listen.
He's won 22 games in 2 years.
He throws the ball like a shot put. Like, the follow-through is not there. All right?
He just slings it. He
just slings it. So, it's just one of them things when I'm watching, like, it ain't too many teams in college that actually have a backup that's better than the starter.
Yeah.
Texas has that. Like, they has that. And
Arch is no joke.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, at what point do you feel the pressure as a coach and say, you know what, we got to go and put Arch in there, let him go and bring this thing home?
I don't know. And also, we have to wonder this, which is, as good as he is, he hasn't played in any of these high-pressure games, right?
No, he hasn't.
So, the talent is there, but how would he react just being thrown into the mix in the
same
playoff?
way the backup quarterback, gunner. Like, sometimes you know when a guy's good. When you share me his name and the quarterback first name is Gunner, he's good. All right? Guess what? Gunner came right in there.
Yeah, he
changed the game. Listen, Carson is two quarterbacks. And you know I'm an SEC guy.
Yeah.
Played in SEC, born in SEC. I have been saying this since the year started. The two most overrated quarterbacks, Carson Beck and Quinn Ewers.
I get it.
All right? And they just, to me, as a cornerback, I would love to play against those guys.
Yeah.
Like, I would love, because I know I'm going to pick them off. Like, I know
At least once a game, there will be a pass completely telegraphed into, like, triple coverage.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know what that is.
And you know what? I was like, you know what? The first year of Texas in the SEC, so it's kind of like they back to where they should have been the whole time. And then the first year they come and win a SEC championship. No, horns down. Not going to happen this year. Horns down.
Well, we don't have to take the SEC. We can still take the Natty, though.
No, you can still take the Natty, but how do you feel? Do you feel as confident than you was 3 days ago?
Yes.
You still feel confident?
Listen, in the SEC championship game, that game could have gone either way. Georgia had like 3 or 4 fumbles and bounced right back to the guy.
Yeah.
Look, full credit, they won it. But if you're taking arguably the best team in the country to overtime and you lose in OT, you can play with anybody.
So, Matthew McConaughey or Timothy Chalamet?
Chalamet was good.
He was great.
Yeah.
I don't know why everybody's so shocked that the dude watches football. Like, it's like if you're an actor, like, I can't be involved in sports.
Because he looks like he's probably watching ballet, and you're like, this guy's not watching football. Bring on Larry the Cable Guy.
Yeah, but he's a man's man. He showed you that then.
Yeah.
He showed you that he's a man's man. And by the way, I'm a big Matthew McConaughey. That's my guy.
Yeah.
So that's my guy. But you know what? To watch him on the sideline, I enjoy watching him on the sideline, but nobody is hurt more when Texas loses.
than me. Me.
Congratulations.
Thanks. So, your Washington Commanders.
Yes.
Bye week is over.
Yep.
Trying to focus on the Big Easy. It's going to be hard for you.
Yeah.
We love New Orleans. We love the food down in New Orleans.
Listen,
oh my
I
God.
love New Orleans. New Orleans is a cheaper version of Vegas with better food, better people.
I love New Orleans.
Listen, I go down there. I love to just gorge. Like I always leave New Orleans 5 pounds heavier than I flew in. Right? That tells you, and pound for pound. And anybody can bet me this. Yeah. You can call on the phone line. You can even send us an email now. No American city has better food than New Orleans.
New Orleans, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And it, like, the seafood's amazing. And then there's like the Creole style, very New Orleans traditional dishes. You can gamble down there. It's awesome.
And every drink is just 3 for $1. It's just
they're trying to get you messed up.
No, they're trying. You arrived there and you already tipsy and you ain't had nothing to drink. Like that's what New Orleans is.
We went on a ghost tour when we were down there for the Sugar Bowl.
Yeah.
It was like, hey, back in the late 1800s, locals said they saw some ghostly figurines here.
Yeah.
Let's go in here and have a hurricane.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's it? And they did that for like an hour.
You know what? What was the best city to take a ghost tour that I've taken? I think it's Philadelphia.
Oh, that makes sense.
Philly's
old.
Yeah, I took a good ghost tour in Philadelphia, and I really enjoyed it. It was fun.
I don't want Jaden or anybody seeing ghosts in New Orleans this weekend.
No. We shouldn't because, their quarterback is out. They got a fill-in head coach, but we can't take them for granted. It's the revenge game for Chase Young, ain't it? Huh? Hey, listen, y'all don't like to bring this up, but us as players, we feel revenge.
But hey, listen, Chase Young is a totally different. Like, I feel like this is a guy who started off with a bang and just made his money and was like, all right, I'll just kind of go through the motions.
No,
he's not the same player.
No, I think Chase got injured. I think his injury to his neck was more than people led on. Of course, him tearing his knee up. I just think he got beat up, and it kind of compromised a very, very good start of a career. You know who I kind of compare him to? Jadeveon Clowney.
Okay.
They had the same hype coming out. The best they were supposed to be God's gift to defensive ends.
Yeah.
All the talent in the world, and it just didn't pan out, which Clowney started to have some better years as he aged.
He's actually carved out a nice NFL career.
Yeah. And I think Chase would do the same. I think won't meet that big old, when you put him at, but I think he will eventually get it going. So I just think the guy just wasn't healthy. And sometimes when we're not healthy, we cannot meet that bar that's put up there.
Well, the Saints defense ranks 30th in the NFL in total defense. They are 25th against the run.
Yeah.
So I would think the game plan going in is let's go ahead and feed B-Rob and wear these dudes down.
I think you got to take the crowd out the game.
Yeah.
Because I think people forget that stadium rocks.
I love this. The Superdome is a great stadium.
Hey, that stadium rocks.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, you got to get them out of their game. And the way you get them out of their game, like you said, is to start running that ball, getting those points on the board, and quickly take them out. Because just like the Cowboys, if you let this team hang around, any team in the NFL can beat you.
Jaden Daniels ranked 4th in the NFL in QBR.
Yeah.
So what we saw against the Titans was Jaden getting back to being Jaden, right?
Yeah.
Where he was that true dual threat. And as we've talked about, a triple threat in that I can't just run and pass, I can throw on the run. That's a real key. That's a very difficult skill set that not many quarterbacks have.
All right, we talked about the revenge of Chase Young. What about the revenge of Marshawn Lattimore? Right. So guess what? Not only they got somebody on their side that this mean a little bit more to. If you're New Orleans, are you even going to try to throw at this guy? He knows that stadium. He knows every player on that field. And I'm sure the coaches are just leeching his brain on who, what, and when. Yeah. All right, so at the end of the day, if you're a Spencer Rattler, a Haney, you're not throwing to 23.
How much of a difference will Marshawn Lattimore make? We've talked about it somewhat, but when he's healthy,
legit.
They just don't. Quarterbacks don't generally throw at him. They just don't.
No, listen to me. He will have the ability to go head to head with your A.J. Browns, your CD Lambs. He's one of those guys that could take half of the field away. And everybody loves the way he covers. He tackles. He's a physical guy. He everything you want in a cornerback. The thing about it is, can he stay healthy? All right? And can he get to that back to that level that he was? Because I think he changes the defense for us.
Yeah.
Because now everybody get to move to the space they should be. Like St. Juice is a number 2 corner. He shouldn't have been forced to play number 1 corner. All right. Now Sanders still gets to move.
The slot.
Yeah, he gets to move into the slot. All right. So I think with him coming, it just takes the defense to a whole nother level. It takes them and says, now your ceiling is here instead of here.
So when it comes to containing these Saints quarterbacks, David Carr is he has a potential broken hand. It looks like he's probably not going to go. And I'd be stunned if he goes. So it's Jake Haener or Spencer Rattler.
Yeah.
These are a couple guys that this defense should be able to feast on.
Yeah, they should. I think Spencer Rattler, to me, will be the most dangerous out the two because I think his arm strength and the way he throws the ball, but he's still a rookie.
He'll take some chances, though, too.
That's what I'm saying. But that's what you got to do at quarterback. You got to take some chances. So, the defense should be able to rattle these guys and get these guys to make some mistakes.
Yep.
But you never doubt a team when you're playing them at home. Just home cooking is just something about it. So I'm not doubting this Saints team, but should we win? To me, we should win.
Yeah.
Because I think we are the superior roster, but you just never know.
When you have two guys like that you think you can take advantage of, but then in the backfield they have an Alvin Kamara. Isn't the key, containing him, make that backup quarterback try to beat you?
That's what you got to do.
Yeah.
You got to take it out of Kamara's hand. And the only way you can do that is putting somebody in the box. Guess what? I got Marshawn Lattimore. I'm not scared to put my safety in the box anymore. All right? We're going to force you to beat us throwing the ball. It's simple. We're not finna make this complicated. All right?
Right.
We're going to put it in the most inexperienced person's hands, which is going to be your quarterback, and we're going to take it out of the most explosive person's hands, which is Alvin Kamara, because he's a one-man wrecking crew. All right? This is a guy that can score 3, 4, 5 touchdowns in the game.
And do it in different ways, too.
I'm going to say, the thing about it is, if I'm a quarterback, I'm trying to get it in his hands even when I'm throwing the ball. So he's very dangerous in that way. So I'm going to introduce Frankie Louvu to Alvin Kamara early and often.
When you think about Jaden Daniels, I know you're talking about Marshawn Lattimore having a revenge game. Jaden Daniels is going back to his old stomping grounds there, right? Not bad. I know he went to LSU, Baton Rouge, but New Orleans, this is going home essentially.
Yeah, most definitely. So he's used to that crowd. He's used to the playing down there. And I think it'll feel somewhat like a back-home game for him because he did play at LSU. But the one thing about the Saints fans, if you ain't no Saint, they ain't going to love on you. All right, so he won't get that college love that I think he might think.
He'll get a sporadic,
maybe before the game.
Maybe before the game and then it's over.
Then it's over with.
Yeah.
Then it's the drunken crowd of New Orleans that's going to try to weigh down on you. So you know what? It's a great trip, though, for the fans. I always like to ask the fans, when you look at the schedule, what away game do you say I have to go to this away game? Because for a lot of people, it's the Las Vegas Raiders game.
That's why they charge so much for tickets, because they know people will come out here.
They know, because it's a true vacation. But I know if you looked at this schedule this year, I think the New Orleans game had to be, let's take this road trip, honey.
Right. No, as opposed to all the different places you could go, New Orleans got to be right up there.
Yeah, because Dallas is Dallas.
Right. Early on, you're like, Tampa? I'm going to New Orleans.
Yeah, I'm going to New Orleans.
Yeah.
All right? That's what it's about. So I think we'll travel well. I'm going to look at the crowd as the game starts and see how many of our fans actually travel, because I think this is the trip that they're going to travel the most.
Since we're talking about Jaden, I did want to ask about Scary Terry. And full credit to Cliff. We talked about this on the pregame radio show where there's that narrative out there in the second half of seasons. Cliff Kingsbury's offenses, start to die off a little bit, and defenses figure him out. We did not see that against the Titans. They did a nice job of moving Terry around, too, and really mixing things up.
Listen, you use the team self-check on their bye week. I was just happened to come in December. Yeah. So the coaches didn't have a chance to sit down and say, all right, here go the things that we're doing. Let's throw curveballs. All right, they had to do it on the run. So listen, I don't buy into all that late season stuff. It is what it is. We got a rookie quarterback that's evolving every game. We got an offense that only been together for 12, 13 games. We got spoiled at the beginning of the season. That's what it is. Fan base, you got spoiled. All right, you got spoiled because we started winning, and now when we hit them road bumps, now everybody want to know what's wrong. What's wrong is this team is still learning how to play together.
Yep.
This team is still troubleshooting on everything that every other team is troubleshooting on. We have to be realistic when we look at these things.
NFL insider Josina Anderson coming up in just a couple minutes. It's time for your hot ticket presented by SeatGeek, the most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Also, we got some voicemails coming up.
Yeah.
703-726-7419. And by popular demand, we had to get into the now.
Yes.
You can contact us via email, WashingtonGetLoud@gmail.com. That's WashingtonGetLoud@gmail.com. Contact us however you want. Carrier pigeons next.
Electronic mail. You remember it used to pop up, you got mail? You remember that?
You've got mail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
Like Anna don't remember that because she's just too young. Right? But,
Yeah.
But we remember when we had to dial up.
Yeah.
Get off that computer. I need to use the phone. Like, it was just totally different time.
Also, you know what's crazy? And I need to double check this. You know who sent the first ever instant message? Think about this for a second.
Let me try to remember. Was it Bill Gates?
Ted Leonsis.
It was Ted Leonsis?
Yeah, I need to double check this. But remember, before he became big owning the Caps Wizards, he made his money
in tech.
With AOL.
AOL,
and
right?
I remember him telling a story, double check this, but I remember him telling a story where, of course, you know how AOL instant messaging was huge.
Yeah.
And he sent a very, very early prototype, like a message to his wife, like, are you seeing this? And so he was the first guy because he worked for AOL, then just blew up since then.
Listen, man. We show our age all the time.
Have you ever heard of Alexander Graham Bell?
Yeah, you remember the first guy to call somebody on the phone? Yes, we do. We're that old.
Hey, let's pay some bills.
Hey, why not pay some bill? The Get Loud podcast is brought to you by Bet365, the official sporting betting partner of the Washington Commanders. Bet on a range of NFL markets with the Bet365 app. Craft your own personalized bet slip with parlay. Access thousands of games with live streaming. Place your bet before the match or during the game. Is really up to you. Download the Bet365 app today and join 80 million members worldwide, age 21 only. Must be physically located in Virginia. Gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER and MWAA. We don't travel to escape life. We travel so life don't escape us. We can dream of any place in the world, and in a blink of an eye, we're there. That's the wonder of flight. All you have to do is decide where to. Dulles International Airport. Let your imagination soar. Book your adventure today at flydulles.com/nonstop.
Mississippi State.
Hey,
Wow,
listen,
well done.
They had to do, with LeVar Burton, reading Rainbow.
LeVar Burton has got more run on this show than any person.
Listen,
Yeah.
you got to
Giving him
realize,
his props.
between LeVar Burton and what was the dude that did the pain?
Bob Ross.
Bob Ross. That shows you that sometimes to really get in people's life, the small things.
I like that.
Because one read to us and one just painted live.
Yeah.
All right. And guess what? We'll never forget these guys. We'll never forget these guys because they taught us life lessons. The kids these days, I never know what that means. All right? Because TikTok is what they like to do. Like my daughter tried to get me to do a TikTok yesterday, and I was like, no, I don't do TikTok.
You're not going to do a TikTok dance trend?
She wanted me to do a TikTok
What is it? What's the new trend? The get it, hit it, hit it. Is that the one
she wanted me to do.
Okay.
And I was like, no, I'm not doing it. She was like, why? I said, my feet hurt. Call Jerome Bettis. Yeah, call Jerome Bettis and ask him why my feet hurt. All right, so at the end of the day, no, I cannot do. Now, we was dancers, all right, in our day.
Yeah.
When we was young, these kids dance a lot more than us. We used to go to the skating ring. All right, that was
And
our
just
thing.
dance.
And just dance. All right, that's what we did in our day. They'd skate around us, and in the middle of the circle, it's a dance off. Now, everybody think they're a dancer. And I hate to report the news. Everybody can't dance.
It's true. Speaking of the kids, producer Anna is here.
Oh,
you may have
hello.
heard her.
Hi,
Hello,
everyone.
Anna.
Sorry. Well, do we want to hear our voicemails today?
Yeah, we do.
All right. I think we'll do all three of them.
Okay,
All three.
Let's
three
go
of
done.
those selected for the week. All right.
Hey, Fred. Hey, Jenks. Hey, listen. I wonder if you guys have figured this out. I saw it in this last game. Let Terry lead the way. Move him from side to side because now you're dictating to the offense what they need to do. Now the dog is wagging the tail. If you just leave them on one side and just always on one side, they don't have to scheme up much. Let Terry lead the way. Move them around so you can let the dog wag the tail instead of the tail wagging the dog. Do you agree? Peace out.
Hey, you know what?
I like that.
I like that. Now, the dog wagging the tail and the tail wagging the dog, I don't really know the difference.
Ideally, you want the dog wagging the tail.
Well, I wonder what's the difference between the wagging the tail and the dog?
It's the metaphor of, look, if you're the dog, you want to control when you're wagging your tail, right? That means you're in control. But if the tail's wagging the dog, it means, wait, something's backwards here. This isn't working. Because the dog needs to be in control of the tail, not the tail being in control of the dog.
I got you. Texas thing.
All right.
But I agree. I think you're right. If you put Terry in the same place every time, it makes it easier for defenses to key on him.
To tee
so
off on
move him around and you control where Terry is and make the defense react.
I agree.
Absolutely. And I just want to say, if you have any feedback on that, feel free to leave us an email or a voicemail, whatever type of mail. And
U.S. mail.
U.S. mail. Actually, don't mail anything to us, please. But I'd like to shout out the fan who suggested the email. Thank you very much. We're excited to hear from you guys. Okay, next voicemail.
Woo, Jenks and Fred, man, I love the Wild Boars leading the way up front, just like the old Hog days with the Redskins. The Wild Boars is it, Fred. You hit it right on the nose, baby. Mm-hmm. I was trying to think of a sign to bring to the game. Be on the lookout for it. I'll be there on the when we play the Falcons. All right, fellas, keep it going. Love your show.
Appreciate you, man.
Listen, people don't know how dangerous a wild boar is. If you're in the woods and you see a wild boar, run. All right? Wild boars eat any and everything. They have tusks they are very intimidating. I saw this young man, him and his daddy went hunting. They shot a boar that weighed like 3,000 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
Like, so, yes, they are wild boars. And I called them piglets first because I wanted to let them grow. So I started with piglets.
It's catching on.
But when I seen what Southeast Sam Cosme was doing out there, when I seen what Biotish was doing out there, I said, you know what? These are boars. These guys are dangerous. They are consuming people. I watch them consume and eat up Myles Garrett. I watch them consume and eat up Thibodeau. Sexy Dexter doing his dance all over the NFL. They chewed him up. All right? So wild boars, they eating right now. We got a new group right now. I love the Hogs. That was a great name. But them wild boars, they're a little bit more dangerous than a hog. A hog is domesticated. We let these run wild.
Oh, I'm not a hunter, but I have friends back in Texas. They hunt for wild boars.
Oh, and guess what? If you hunt wild boars, see, I always tell people, they always call me like, Smoot, let's go hunting. Well, we hunting. Ducks. Not me. All right? Because I like to hunt stuff that hunt me back. Because I'm a man. All right? I don't hunt stuff that just run. All right? A wild boar ain't going to just run from me. It's going to hunt you back.
Oh, absolutely.
You got to hit him in the right spot.
Oh, goodness. All right, last one.
Anna. Oh, goodness.
Oh, golly.
Goodness gracious.
Oh, goodness gracious.
By golly.
This last one, I just wanted to get your reactions to.
At 703, at 726, at 7419. Ooh, yeah. What's up, Fred? What's up, Jenks? It's going to be real right here. Hell to the Berkeley go. 703, 76, 7419. I said 703, 726.
Hey.
He does have a pleasant voice.
Oh, big finish.
Ain't. Listen.
Thank you very much.
That was that.
Thank you.
Those are your voicemails.
Thank you very much.
He did drop an Elvis in there.
Thank you very much.
He did.
Elvis.
Beautiful. Voice of an angel.
That was right there.
Bravo.
That's a show in itself right there. We got the best fans in football.
We
I always tell
absolutely
people
do.
that. We
and
do.
now we're going to have someone else the fans love, Josina Anderson.
Welcome to the Get Loud podcast. We have the wonderful Josina Anderson on to talk everything NFL. Tell us where you're at right now, Josina.
Well, I'm at my house in an undisclosed location. I'm not going to be announcing, because I might be in Witsec for all you people know. But I'm at my house, and I'm getting ready for my own show tomorrow. And then the the NFL owners have their meetings in Dallas that are going on. The accelerator program just started today as, the league gets ready to enter into another coaching carousel season, and other anticipated openings are, expected around the league, GM-wise and coaching-wise.
So what do you think, what's going to happen at this meeting? What are the highlights that they'll be highlighting at this owners meeting this week?
Well, the first and foremost objective for the league when they're having the accelerator program is just to expose candidates of diversity to the owners that might not get this kind of direct contact with the owners, and to create familiarity. So that was kind of the impetus behind starting this. And then, outside of that, the owners will have their regular, league meetings that will happen on Wednesday to just discuss anything that they feel like they need to discuss.
Well, Josina, I just want to say, as someone who's done this for a long time, people always ask me, well, do you get excited about meeting this athlete, that athlete? And I get excited when I meet great broadcasters, because this is my chosen career. So this is a real thrill. Thanks for being with us. And I just wanted your take as someone who has obviously been a part of this league, covered this league for so long. What is your take on the NFL expanding globally the way it's trying to? It's incremental, as we know, but it's not a global sport, but Roger Goodell sure seems hell-bent on eventually making it one.
Well, I mean, when you look at football compared to soccer, obviously there's no comparison. Soccer is just is the game of the world. And I think the NFL, even as dominant as it is in the United States, is just trying to expand its reach globally. I would like for them to have an expansion team in Hawaii so we can all go back to Hawaii and go into tropical places. I'd like them to go to Jamaica, Trinidad, places like that. Not that I'm opposed to Germany and Mexico, and I think they're, expanding to Australia and things like that. So I'm all for it. It's a great, trip. I think it exposes the athletes to, its global fans. So I'm all for it. I think, the game in Brazil was a little bit maybe more rougher than the league wanted it to be, as far as just the technology of the broadcasting and some of the things that I was hearing behind the scenes. But I'm all for the efforts and trying to make it bigger. And I do think that the games that we saw in London and Brazil, at least the stands were full.
Yep, JoJo, I got to talk about this race we got going for Rookie of the Year right now. Of course, I got jumped out there fast, but Bo Nix has been making waves to make this a true contest. Who do you got in the Rookie of the Year right now as it stands today?
Well, I do have Jaden with the edge right now over Bo Nix. Sometimes what I like to do to make the discerning decision is to ask myself, if I had to pick a team right now, which quarterback would I pick? And I would go with Jaden, but that doesn't discount the work that I think has been absolutely phenomenal that Sean Payton has been doing with Bo Nix. You can see just, and obviously members of his offensive staff, but I do think that there's something to be said for just the confidence, the know-how that Sean has in working with a quarterback like Drew Brees in his past, that he's able to instill not only just with instruction, but with confidence. And Bo Nix can know that and think, okay, this is a person who's been to the Super Bowl. This is a person who's worked with this caliber passer. So it lands with credibility. I also think that the work that Sean Payton has done with Bo Nix lends greater credence to the time that even Jameis Winston was with Sean Payton, and the team was 5-2 when Jameis Winston was there, and Jameis had his lowest interception percentage of his career under Sean before he incurred that ACL injury that ended his time with Sean Payton. And obviously we know Sean Payton went on to go to Fox and then now is the head coach of the Broncos. And I know that Jameis has been having a little bit of a rough two games as far as the interceptions, but I do remind people that prior to the game yesterday, that it was only his 8th start in 3 seasons. Because, when what's his name, Dennis Allen took over for head coach, he wasn't giving that love to Jameis. So he went a long time without starting before, being back with the Cleveland Browns.
And I've went out and said on a couple of media circuits that I truly believe that this draft class of quarterbacks could be the best draft class ever drafted. And I think, to me, it has a lot to do with the fact that they're COVID babies, that they got to play the extra year. We got guys in this draft class that started 40, 50, 60 games in college. That's unheard of. Do you agree with me? When we look back 20 years from now with Caleb Williams and people forgetting about J.J. McCarthy and Penix, when we look back 10 years from now, are we going to say this is the best draft class of quarterbacks ever?
Well, I definitely think that there's the potential. Ever is a high bar, and we're definitely not, there yet. But I can see where you're going with it, just in terms of just the level of talent that they've shown in the first year. I think you'd have to go back to 2011, 2012, when RG3 and Andrew Luck were in their first year, and they just had that big success their rookie year. That group that year is what really started the trend against teams being more willing to wait and have their quarterbacks wait, kind of a la Aaron Rodgers did behind Brett Favre after Andrew Luck and RG3 had that successful first year. It started this trend of rookies having to be, more successful their first years. And now that you're seeing the way that Bo Nix is performing, the way that Jane Daniels is performing, the potential that Drake May has, who, by the way, obviously not just a big advocate because he's a North Carolina Tar Heel, but I do think that Drake is showing the potential to be a great leader, and not only because of what I think, but because of what I hear his teammates say.
Josina, I know it's player specific, but I think it's a fascinating question, which is how much time do we give these rookie quarterbacks, right? Because Bo Nix looks great right now, Jaden Daniels looks great right now, but then we see Bryce Young looking better in the second half of the season with the Panthers. Geno Smith has rejuvenated his career in Seattle, and Sam Darnold is the hottest example right now. He was known for having mono and seeing ghosts a few years ago, and now he looks like an MVP. So it's wild to think about, how much time do we give these guys, because it's such a difficult position and it requires development. What is the right? I don't know if you have a right answer, but how do you reconcile the time it takes to develop a quarterback versus, okay, maybe this guy just can't get it done?
Well, I think I would take the question even kind of even above that level, because it's something that I'm always talking about on my timeline, something that I've written articles about. I just think in general, from ownership on down, they have to, well, one, obviously be a good owner, but the top of the structure has to do a better job of just having discernment when it comes to not only picking talent, but also pairing them with the right people. And what happens is sometimes you do have coaches that are not really the right coaches to be paired with developing quarterbacks, or just not the right coach in general. And so that can start a domino effect that really has a large impact, not only just on the quarterback, but the other 52 players on the roster. And I do also think that it's circumstantial. When you're talking about Sam Darnold and Geno Smith, these are it's very hard to thrive in New York and New Jersey in general. But sometimes you do have players that just need to go through a really big life lump and have a change of environment to really just not only give them a kind of a second life, but to have that strip layer of humility and to get them to just see how serious or how quickly things can be taken away from you. And that's why I think that Bryce with the Carolina Panthers is having that success too, because it does hurt when you have a head coach that does take it away from you, then they win, then everyone's partying around you in the locker room, as what happened with Bryce. And that can have a profound effect on you. And if you do have a strong family structure around you, they can help mentally get you not only through that, but back on track. So you see that he's kind of coming back with a different fire and focus after having gone through that. Some players, it takes longer, with like Sam Darnold and Geno, like you were mentioning. But I do think in general that there are a lot of quarterbacks and coaches who are going through personal redemption. It's Cliff Kingsbury, it's Vance Joseph with the Denver Broncos, it's Sam Darnold, it's Geno Smith, and it's Baker Mayfield. So a lot of players that have experienced and coaches new places, and it's a life lesson. It's a narrative to everyone in our industry, in the NFL, just with jobs in general, to not just peg people down because they're going through a tough time. We all have to remember that people got there in the first place because they're talented.
We got to talk playoff picture, because for some reason nobody respects the Kansas City Chiefs. I don't know what's wrong with people. For some reason they like, they sneaking by these wins. No, they're just winning. And a part of me thinks that they're kind of bored with the regular season a tad bit, and it could also be some Super Bowl hangover where they're playing 3-4 extra games more than everybody else. When you talk playoff picture, where do you got Philly at? Detroit is a monster. Kansas City, the Bills. Let's talk playoff picture.
So out of the NFC, and obviously I reserve the right to change my mind, as Booger McFarland would always say, I always reserve the right to change my mind with new information. Yeah. But I would go with the Philadelphia Eagles, even though I respect the Detroit Lions and everything that they're doing. I think they are on a great carpet ride that they've earned. They put in the work. They have blue collar players and coaches. I expect to see Aaron Glenn getting an opportunity as a head coach this year, as well as Ben Johnson now in his third cycle of trying this out. But I think the distinguishing factor for the Eagles for me is the fact that they did go to the Super Bowl and they lost. And so they'll have that chip, they'll have that experience of having done it. And obviously the Lions, went through have gone through, their lines last year. But I just think that the Eagles, that extra resolve will be potentially more helpful, to them. Obviously the ball still has to bounce their way. And then in the AFC, I think the Steelers are looking very strong right now.
Legit, yeah.
The Steelers I think that, again, Russell Wilson has been there. He can help them with that. You got a tough coach, you got a tough defense. It's not to say that I don't like, the Ravens, but, it would be anyone with objective eyes. It would be hard to, to discount the Steelers. And I do think that the Steelers can give the Kansas City Chiefs a good run for their money, because even though they won again last night, they have a lot of games that have just been by, one score, and it's just been this or that. And yes, winning teams are the teams that can get over the this and the that. But I could see them being susceptible once the playoffs start.
Josina, I do want to ask you about this Commanders team, because this is a team that won 4 games last year. Yeah. So, are you surprised at how quickly the franchise has turned around? And what do you think the ceiling is for Washington?
So I kind of have this thing that I've always said as a reporter who's been to the Indianapolis Combine. I've been covering the Combine since 2009. Yes, I've been around a long time. Obviously, I covered Fred when he was a player.
Way to make me feel old, JoJo.
That's how listen. I am in my 40s, but I'm proud of it. That means I've been blessed to be around a long, long, long time. But I do have this thing that I say when I go to the Combine. I have an opportunity to interview the players myself. And as I was speaking about that word discernment, I happen to be of a feeling that I have a strong discernment myself. And so even though I'm not a big watcher of college football, and I don't have a problem with, discussing that, I feel like it gives me a fresh eye when I meet these kids for the first time, or young men at the Combine. And so when I have that 5-minute interview with them, I feel like I pick up a lot just in that. And so why am I saying that? Because when I interviewed Jaden Daniels at the Combine last year, sat down with Drake, sat down with a whole bunch of different, and that interview was actually on my Twitter page. But I could tell within 5 minutes, I was like, this kid has it. I just, you can, even though he wasn't, he's not doing a whole bunch of jokes, he's very kind of contained. You can just feel that inner drive. You can feel that inner fire. And I think it was a way that he answered one of my questions that he was like, I've been through it was just the way he answered it. I was like, he has it. And I didn't watch a whole bunch of games on him, didn't know, a whole bunch about him, but I feel like I get a lot in those interactions, how the player handles it, what they say, how they answer it. And matter of fact, I even spoke to Dan Quinn about it. I won't go too much into our conversation after that, but I gave him who I thought was the strongest amongst the group, and who I did not think. And I think I sent a couple of my interviews to Dan, as well as he asked to look at them as well. So.
Oh yeah. We most definitely got one, and I can't let you go without talking to little North Carolina, because we know you a Tar Heel and you wear it on your sleeve all the time. Bill Belichick to North Carolina. Do you think that's a good marriage or not?
Well, you're never going to discount someone's rings, and I'm never going to disrespect the championships. And even though the Falcons started off hot, without going with Bill Belichick, I still have very strong feelings about not going with Bill, because I just think he deserves that respect of his experience. And, I had thoughts about just, the potential, that fear that might have been there for someone of that prowess and that stature to be in the building with people in that structure who have just been there a long time. So I've said that, before. Now, when it comes to North Carolina, obviously, I think he would have a huge impact. I did talk to some people who were on the staff within the last few days. And I think there are people who, when you let go of Mac Brown, and Mac Brown is at that age, I have heard the age thing come up as a concern and whether they need to go younger. But I don't want to participate in age discrimination. I think if you're good and you have the level of prowess that he is, of course he should be looked at. I mean, how could you not, especially with his defensive know-how, the amount of time that he's been around Tom Brady, how could you just discard that just because of, what would the only knock be on Bill? His age,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think his age, and then people are asking, is he going to hit the road and recruit? How's he going to handle younger players? I think it's great because I think he can mold men, and that's what college is about. And like you said, when you talk about the X's and O's, nobody does it better. Would he have the patience? That's what I'm worried about. Would he have the patience to make these kids get to a certain level? Because college is way different than pros, because you don't know what you're getting in college, and in the pros, most of us come as almost finished products.
I think that a great structure is really key. So you're going to have like lieutenants under him who are probably even stronger in areas where Bill is maybe weaker when it comes to relating to just, today's player in the NIL environment and everything that has changed since Bill has been around, the college game or what have you. But I think that's just my answer. I think it really depends on who was there. Now, you've had people like David Thornton, who used to work there, who is in the personnel department with the Colts. You've had Dre Bly, who used to work there, who just recently worked with the Lions, who's not, so obviously there's a whole bunch of former Tar Heel players, people that could go back there, people I'm familiar with the staff. So if he puts some strong Tomlin-like people around him, whoever you consider to be strong coaches that really do well with commanding the respect of today's player and also imparting that knowledge on the field. I think that would be key for him. And that would also be for Bill Belichick to listen. Don't just go with who you're familiar with and people who've been around you in the past. Open yourself up to really interviewing strong people in today's game that can help him to better acclimate to today's player,
I think, though, Bill Belichick and Nick Saban have shown us more personality in the last year of them not having a job than ever before. Like, I have never felt like I've known Bill as much as I know him now, and Nick Saban. Like, they've done a hell of a job when it comes to, here I am, and this is what I am. I'm just not this hard coach that just turned my nose up to everything.
No, and I think that's a really important point. I think two things. It's very important to be able to be self-deprecating and to make fun of yourself and to make light of things. And secondly, I also think it's a very strong point when it comes to when you go through the pain of job loss, especially, or being rejected for jobs, which is not just going on in the NFL, it's going on around the entire country as we go through things with our economy and things like that. I think Bill is a great example of, not going into a cocoon, hiding, shrouding yourself in shame, just being out there, being self-deprecating, letting everybody see you're still smiling, you're still moving. It's not doing this, it's not doing that. A really great example of something like that, even though it wasn't job related, but it was, something that was embarrassing, maybe shame related, is Martha Stewart. After she came out of jail, she did the whole roast, on Netflix of Justin Bieber. That completely changed her career when she came out of jail, because everybody was able to see, oh, she's not just this howdy-towdy girl who cooks cakes and can't relate to nobody. She was out there cutting up and giving it to Snoop. She was giving it to everybody that was out there, and it turned into her show with Snoop. So, and other things after that. So it really is. And I would say that to some of the coaches now that I know are sitting at home, and, they don't want to talk to nobody. And I say that even behind the scenes to them. Stop hiding. Stop, whatever. Just get back out there. Show your face. Don't make it look like it's like this big sting to you. You know what I mean?
Well, that's good that football players, we used to get fired in front of everybody, so we can't run from it. So we can't run from it at all anyway. I totally understand, man. Thank you for coming in, Josina. Thank you for coming on Get Loud, and you just got loud.
Yes, I appreciate y'all, and have a good show, and thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Josina. Thanks again to Josina. As good as it gets. Appreciate her being on the show.
Always good.
Always good. Such
Question
a pro.
for you, Jenks. Do you want to join my frat?
Is it Lambda, Lambda, Lambda from Revenge of the Nerds?
I am a tri-lamb. And I'm taking applications to all old dudes. This is only for old dudes.
I'm in.
Right? All old dudes all over America that, ain't got, nothing to do most of the time. Become a tri-lamb. We travel together. Right? We meet at bars. Right? We do all kinds of stuff. So if you want to be a tri-lamb, come on, be a tri-lamb.
You know what? I keep hearing that song like, it's Lambda, 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 and Omega Mu.
Yeah, that's it, baby. That's what I'm telling you. So if you want to join, I too can swear you in as a tri-lamb.
Let me swear in as an inaugural member. And also, what's funny is that, of course, this is a nerdy fraternity, but we like to geek out, so it's perfect.
It's perfect. I've been a nerd my whole life.
Oh,
that's
me
the whole
too.
thing about it. So when I saw Revenge of the Nerds as a youngster, it was instantly one of my favorite movies of all time.
Totally. It's a classic, man.
Yeah, it's a classic, man. I love it.
Commanders fans, the 2024 football season is here, and SeatGeek is here to help you experience all of the action to make it easy to find tickets so you can be a part of all of the touchdown celebrations this season. Whether you're buying or selling tickets to Commanders football games or any other live event in D.C., SeatGeek is the place to do it. SeatGeek is the official primary ticketing partner of the Washington Commanders, the most disruptive idea in ticketing, a ticket that works. Expect the expected. SeatGeek. Oh, it is time to bring in Anna again. People love hearing from Anna, as they should, and we're going to play a game of Take It or Leave It.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
I'm honored. It's a joy.
Hey, guys. Oh, my goodness. Thanks for having me today.
I'm going to have to cut that one. I'm going to have to bleep that out, Fred, as we've been bleeping.
All right, that's fine.
Oh, yeah.
Redacted. Okay.
Redacted.
Okay. We're going to play a game of Take It or Leave It. I'm going to say a statement. You're going to say if you're going to take it or leave it. Commanders will reach the playoffs this season.
Take it.
Take it.
Now, you got to take that one right there. We are on the path of greatness. The question is not if we're going to make the playoff. It's what seed.
There
6, 7, 8. All right, everybody trying to dodge teams. We ain't dodging no teams. Any place, anytime, anywhere.
And I love the fact that they went through that rough spot. They gathered themselves, right?
Yep.
The culture was tested. The culture came out on top, and they looked like the team we saw before.
Yep.
I'm taking it.
Anywhere, anytime.
And I think just to add on to this discussion, I have a couple little follow-ups here. What do we think is a reasonable expectation for a young team like this, like you said, regathering themselves in that little
I think being reasonable is to say, let's get into the tournament. Once you're in the tournament, everything else is out the door.
Yeah.
All right, once you're in the playoff, everything out the door. So I ain't finna say, let's just go win one game. Right. No, go as far as you can for you can get that experience. All right, so when you show back up here, all right, you're ready to rock and roll. Because what Jaden is going to understand is the regular season is a certain speed, but the playoffs is a whole nother gear. All right, so I want them to get in that tournament and feel what it's like because it's intense.
I think that just getting in the playoffs is a win.
Yeah.
If you get a win in the playoffs, that's just gravy.
Yeah.
Because this team will get the experience playing in the postseason. And look, let's remember, this team won 4 games last year. Yeah. So at the end of last year, if I told you next season this team's going to make the playoffs, you'd be like, take it.
Yeah.
So anything that is beyond making the playoffs, huge for this team.
Yeah.
Awesome. All right, next one. This is based off an NFL article I was reading talking about Pro Bowl sleepers. And a couple of these Pro Bowl sleepers mentioned Commanders players, Dante Fowler Jr. and Austin Eckler. Take it or leave it.
More than that. Winning teams usually get more guys in. I just told y'all about Southeast Sam Cosme. Southeast been making plays the whole year. Title Biotis could be the best center in football. All right, Pro Bowler right on that offensive line. Jaden Daniels could be a legit Pro Bowler. Terry McLaurin is not on there as a Pro Bowler? What are you thinking? Bobby Wagner, Frankie Louvu.
Right.
It's guys all over this roster that can make it to the Pro Bowl.
I think Austin Eckler has a chance, though. I think being banged up has hurt him.
Yeah.
Also, special teams, he's been great this season.
Yeah.
So maybe
Tress Way,
yeah. But I do think when it comes to Dante Fowler Jr., he's suffering from a couple things. Number one is this has been his breakout year, right?
Yeah.
And then also on his same team, he's competing against dudes like
Frankie Louvu
and Bobby Wagner. So it's not that they haven't had great seasons, but there are some mitigating factors.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, next one. As of Friday, Jaden Daniels was leading the NFC in votes for Pro Bowler quarterbacks. His biggest competitors are for this Pro Bowl quarterback spot are Jared Goff and Sam Darnold.
Sam Darnold you want to talk about people read him off and he didn't
Put
write
some
back.
respect on his name. The man,
Man,
is
but
playing.
it also shows you that coaching has a lot to do with our career. We end up with the wrong
Josina
coach.
was talking about that. You got to find the person that understands you and puts you in a position to win.
And that's
and
why
succeed.
that's why I made my way back here, because I want to get back with Coach Gibbs and Greg Williams, because that made me feel at home and made me play my best football. But Sam Darnold is playing some hell of a football right now. We can't erase that. Plus, Detroit listen. Detroit is one of those teams that the only thing can stop them is health right now. All right, so they got a Pro Bowl quarterback. Who was the other person on that list?
We had Jared Goff, Sam Darnold, and okay. The reason I think people are going to be really surprised to hear that Jalen Hurts wasn't included in this, and that is because the most votes by team for the Pro Bowl come from the Detroit Lions, and this is across both NFC and AFC.
Yeah.
Baltimore Ravens, Kansas City Chiefs, Minnesota Vikings, and Pittsburgh Steelers. So these fan bases are doing the most voting.
Did y'all hear that fan base? Vote. Let's get out of here and let's vote these guys in there. They deserve it. This ain't one of these years where we're 4-12 and we trying to get Deron Payne in the Pro Bowl. No, we got guys that legitly. Terry, this is Terry's best year of all time. He should be getting in the Pro Bowl.
Also, let me ask you a quick question. This is going to be ignorance. How much of a
Here we go to
Pro
Texas.
Bowl?
Oh.
How much of a Pro Bowl player getting into the Pro Bowl has to do with fan vote versus other factors? Is it? It's not just fan vote.
It's the players we vote too.
I started to say it's not just the fans.
No, it's not just the fans. We vote as players. Like at the end of the year, we get 2 weeks before the season over. They give us a paper with certain names on it.
Okay.
We can't vote for ourselves.
Right.
We have to vote.
So this will be combined.
Yeah,
okay,
it'll be combined.
Okay, very good.
But fan vote matters.
Yeah, fan vote matters, no doubt.
All right. Last one. We're coming into the holiday season. Is Die Hard is a holiday movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
It is?
Listen.
I've never watched it.
Of course you haven't.
But I just have been told this is a
Get her out.
Listen.
It's
Die
definitely
Hard is
a Christmas movie.
In the Smoot family, Die Hard
It's a Christmas movie.
is played during Christmas time. It's a legit Christmas movie. In the movie, it's happening during Christmas.
Yes.
All right? So it's Christmas stuff all over here. So
From start to finish, it's all
doing Christmas.
Yes.
So at the end of the day, Die Hard is, as much as a Christmas film, it's Frosty the Snowman. All right? I'm sorry, it just is. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. Watching the original one now, it's kind of creepy.
The original Die Hard?
No,
Rudolph?
the
Yeah, it's
Red-Nosed.
weird.
It's kind of creepy to me because of the puppetry. Like, ugh.
You're used to CGI, and this is old school.
Yeah,
Like,
it's just old. Even the bumming snowman on there,
Right.
it's like, ugh. Like, what's going on here?
Here's the thing with Die Hard. If you took away that it was an action movie and it was a regular movie, you'd be like, this is a Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
But because people can't reconcile
Bruce Willis.
an action movie that's a Christmas movie. What's one of the famous lines from that movie?
Yippee-ki-yay.
That one. And what's the one that includes Christmas? When Hans Gruber goes, ho, ho, ho.
And he was a great
Now
great
I have
villain.
a machine gun or whatever it is.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
I understand it's an action movie, but there's Christmas references throughout.
Come on, Red One just came out with The Rock and Chris Hemsworth. I'm not Chris Hemsworth, but Chris, and it's an action movie.
Yeah.
So no, action and Christmas goes together. Think about it. Our gifts is mostly like action gifts: bikes, motorcycles, cars. Hey, it's a Christmas movie, Anna.
Yeah.
Call us. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, let us know. Comment, email us.
Yeah.
703-726. Ooh.
7419.
Da, da, da.
Beautiful.
Washington Get Loud at gmail.com. Okay, time to geek out.
Oh,
you want to
is
geek
it?
out?
Hey, let's geek out.
All right, let's
man.
do it.
I'm always up for a good geek out session. You know me, myself. I'm a nerd. That's why I got on this Tri-Lamb shirt. I enjoy geeking out. Well, for some reason, my phone is not working,
Uh-oh.
Oh, no.
making it hard for me to geek out.
I'm sure you have a few random facts in your head.
Oh, I do. I just I like to look up new
If my
stuff.
phone wasn't working, you guys should be worried, but if Fred's, I'm like, he's fine.
Oh, no, it's all good. Did y'all know this, people? I like to give you information because I'm a traveler, and I consider myself well-traveled.
You are real traveled.
You can pay to go with National Geographic on its expeditions to exotic places like Antarctica.
Oh, I'd love to go.
Yeah, and it depends on the place to tell you how much you have to pay. To get to Antarctica, how much you think you have
Oh,
to
it's got to be crazy expensive.
pay? $15,000.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not that.
That's not that
I mean,
bad.
I think that's expensive, but it's not like, I don't know. I was expecting like closer to 100. How long? Well, how long's the trip? I don't really think.
No,
about
it
that
didn't
part.
say how
You
long
probably
the
have
trip.
to-
It just
I mean,
gave examples.
Because if you're, depending on the length.
But you have to go down there through one of the icebreaker ships to
get there.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot now. But if you got 10 people, they all playing 15,000 apiece. That's an extra 150,000 you just made.
I was reading, this is a few years ago, about two guys who were going to have a competition as to who could be the first or the quickest individual to cross Antarctica. And it was one guy did it alone.
Yeah.
And at one point, I think the thing that freaked me out, because of course, like he's prepared, and in every single preparation he made for this little bag that he took with him, that had like a small stove, a small tent, it was, they would try to shave off like ounces, because every ounce mattered when you're dragging something across a continent.
Yeah.
And so his preparation was incredible, and he did it.
I don't need to go see Antarctica. It's snow there. That's
Correct.
it. That's it. I know what's there.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. In some Turkish wedding customs, brides often add salt to the groom's coffee before the ceremony. If he drinks it without complaining, he's considered a keeper.
Is there some sort of cultural reason behind this?
If you don't complain about, "Ick, who made the coffee?" Like if you just say, you know what, it was a bad day for coffee, and they consider him then a keeper, that means you just don't complain a lot.
Also, that's an egregious addition. Like, when is the last time you were like, oh, this coffee's salty? Like that's not something you ever associate with coffee.
Well, you could be Will Levis and put mayonnaise in your coffee.
He probably does.
It could be.
Probably puts coffee in his mayonnaise.
That's what I'm saying. So it could be a lot worth. All right. And one of my favorite fish of all time, dolphins. I think they're just very intelligent animals. But they use pufferfish. They go and lick pufferfish so they can get high. And they do it all the time.
I believe that. I've heard of that, I think.
So pufferfish are poisonous to other fish. They're not poisonous to dolphins.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Dolphins got it figured out.
Listen, dolphins sing.
They're
have
smart.
fun.
They're highly intelligent.
Yeah. Listen, I've heard cases of dolphins saving people from sharks. I've heard dolphins, people being shipwrecked in the dolphin. They grab the dolphin fin, he brings them. Like, dolphins are the angels of the ocean. Right? That's what they are. All right? Everybody has them. Dolphins are the angels of the ocean. What is the angel of the woods then? Is that
Angel of the woods?
Is that a deer?
I don't think that's
I know
right.
you finna say a elk, a moose.
No, those are mean. Elk are mean. They'll charge you.
Are they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, they'll charge cars.
Sounded north. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, they'll charge your cars. They're mean. They're destructive. They'll pee on your dogs. Peed on my dog.
Elk will?
Yeah. And elk pee, I'm not even kidding. And elk pee actually is like really toxic. So your dog can die if it gets peed on by an elk.
Look at the
That's
geeking out's
my
going on
fact.
here.
Listen,
It's disgusting, but it's true.
I could just see my dog running up. I just got peed on by an elk.
I mean, that sounds
It's
like,
more so if
let
they
me see if I can
ingest
find a
it.
dog to pee on today. Like, this is mean spirited.
Like animals aren't smart enough to know that you like can't ingest that. So
Right.
if he ingests it, but if you like bathe him, like an elk peed on my dog, we had to like put him in the bath really fast. He was fine. He lived.
That's the Colorado corner right
Listen,
I know.
and they say ain't
The
no
more you know.
special things in Colorado.
there. We had some people defending Colorado
but-
last week.
And shout
Stepping
out
up.
them. Thank
Stepping
you.
out. Stepping up. Defending Anna.
Coloradians. I'm with them.
Coloradans, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think Coloradan.
Colorado.
Coloradian.
I don't know. We can debate that in the comments as well.
So we got like
Sorry.
3-4 minutes here. You got
Stay-
anything else,
stay
Anna?
away
Oh, we can wrap.
I've been saying, stay away from elks. If you learned anything from this geek out,
Yeah.
stay away from elks, all right? They are not the angels of the woods, all right?
What was I was reading about bears. We've talked about bears before. And if it's brown, lay down. If it's black, fight back. If it's polar, it's over.
So they try to say the polar bear is the most dangerous. Dangerous than a grizzly?
Yes, and it's because, from what I understand, I mean, A, they're huge, but B, they have so very little
food.
So very little food and zero human interaction. I mean,
other animal action.
right. Like they don't, like seeing a human, okay, it might happen from time to time with a black bear.
Yeah.
And they have easier resources in which to get food. A polar bear will eat whatever it can because it's trying to find food and it does not interact with humans. So if you see a polar bear, you might as well just be like, well, it's been a good one.
The thing that makes bears so scary, you can't outrun them, you can't climb a tree, and you can't jump in water. They conquered everything. The only thing a bear can't do is fly. Like that's it.
Goodness.
But a bear, at what point do you say my brain can help me run from this thing?
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
It ain't gonna happen.
Yeah. That's it for the Get Loud podcast. It's Fred Smoot. I'm Michael Jenkins. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't say the charter member of Lambda.
I thank you. Horns down.
Horns up.